Everyone, sorry, I've been trying to go live here for like the last 15 minutes and it hasn't worked. I think hopefully everything's working okay right now. So I'm Jera M. I am a Platinum Director with Farmasi, and for this video I am just going to be going over all of the foundation options that we have. Not just foundations, but tinted moisturizers, tinted moisturizers, BBCC creams, and all of the foundations. So let's start with the Befit tinted moisturizer. I'm going to go through them all. I'm actually going to save the best for last, and then if you can't tell, I've only done my eyes today, and I'm actually going to apply my foundation at the end so that you can see one of them in action. Okay, so Befit tinted moisturizer. This is our lightest coverage. This is a very, very light coverage. Just a tinted moisturizer. It is water-based. This one is sweat-proof and waterproof. So it is basically formulated for one, if you are just looking for a super light coverage tinted moisturizer, or two, it's actually developed, the reason why it's called Befit, it's developed to be able to put on while you're working out. Oops. So we actually have an entire Befit line. We have the tinted moisturizer, the powder, the mascara, a lip and cheek tint, and a clear brow mascara. It's the entire series that's actually built for a woman who, let's say you go to work and you're someone who maybe works out at lunchtime, and then you need to go right back to work. It's kind of like the perfect line for you, because you're gonna throw this on. It's gonna give you a nice natural look. You're gonna be able to work out in it, sweat-proof, waterproof. Come back to work in the same makeup that you have on. That's the idea behind the series. But just know that, I mean, if you're someone like me who doesn't really work out that often, it's good for you too, because so this is great right now in the summer because it's waterproof. You can wear it swimming and that sort of thing. It's actually the only one we have that is waterproof, although a lot of them do last a really long time. This is the one that is actually formulated to be sweat-proof and waterproof. Okay, next is our BB cream. Okay, so we have BB and we have CC. So our, both of these products, I kind of call them tinted moisturizers with a lot of oomph. Some people go ahead and call them foundations. Basically, BB cream stands for Beauty Balm and CC stands for Color Correcting. These are kind of like foundation and skincare combined. These are some of my favorite products that we have out of everything. So BB cream, Beauty Balm is, oh, I forgot to tell you the price on the Befit. The Befit is $19.90. The BB cream is $15.90. That's the retail price. So BB cream, Beauty Balm. It has medium coverage, and it is great on its own. I love it on its own, but you can also wear it underneath your makeup. So if you wanted a really full coverage look, you can actually put this on first, then apply your foundation over the top, and you will get a flawless finish. You can do that with the CC cream also. It is gluten-free. All of our foundations, all of our tinted moisturizers, they are all gluten-free, okay? So it is best for normal to oily skin. It does give you a nice matte finish, and it is good for reducing inflammation on your face. So like I said, I call this medium coverage. It is buildable, but I wouldn't say it's quite full, but it's a very, very beautiful finish. You can apply this like moisturizer, just a little dollop on your hands and rub it all over. But, oh, and same thing with the CC cream. When I'm in a hurry, I just literally put it on my hands and rub it all in. But you can actually get a perfect flawless coverage if you use something like a beauty sponge or a foundation brush, like a stippling brush. You can pretty much apply it whichever way you want. It's just going to give you a different finish. So that's the BB cream. The CC cream is $16.90. This right here is a lot of people's favorite product that we have. It gives a really nice luminous finish. It is medium coverage, but I'm telling you, you can get it to full. The CC stands for color correction, so it actually fights redness. You can cover up a lot of that redness in your skin if you have that. It does contain nanoparticles that boost radiance. So again, you're gonna get a really nice glowy finish from this. It is best, I would say, for normal to dry or combination skin. I would not recommend this if you are extremely oily. Now, I do have an oily T-zone, but I'm more combination. I get really dry everywhere else. So I really like the CC cream, even though I am oily in places. So the only time I would not recommend this, like I said, is if you're just extremely oily all over. You would want to go with something different, which we'll talk about all of those later. But yeah, this is one of my favorite products. I reach for this every day, and like I said, I put a little dollop on my hands. I rub it all over my face like it's a moisturizer, and it gives a perfect even coverage. It evens out my skin tone. It lasts a really long time, and again, you get just a nice dewy glow from it. So $16.90 for that one. Then we have the Flawless Touch. This is our only cream foundation, so if you're someone who likes a thicker cream, this is the one that we have. Everything else is a liquid. And it is $12.90. I would call this more medium coverage, but it is buildable to full. It gives a velvet finish, and it is a cream to powder finish. Okay, so it goes on creamy, and then it's going to blend out to a nice, like, velvety, powdery finish. And it feels really, really nice on. Like I said, I call that more medium coverage, but it is buildable. And you would just apply this with, again, a beauty sponge or a wedge sponge, or you can use a brush, anything like that. So that is the Flawless Touch Cream. Okay, the next one is Luminous Serum. So this one is incredibly dewy. So if you're someone who has very dry skin, this is the one that you would want. Or you would even want to maybe add this to your current foundation or one of the other foundations that we have. This adds a lot of luminosity to your skin. I would not recommend it for oily skin. This one is $22.90. It has medium coverage, but it's buildable. I wouldn't say you could quite get this to extremely full coverage, but again, buildable medium coverage. Gluten-free, just like the others, and it does come, it's the only one that comes in a droplet form. And actually, the more drops you use, the more coverage you're going to get. I have used this. It's a little, just a touch too dewy for me. Again, I said I have a really oily T-zone, so this does make me kind of shiny even with powder. But my ladies out there who have very dry skin absolutely love this one, and it is amazing, amazing, amazing for dry skin. And even if you're someone who, we're going to talk about VFX at the end, let's say you love the coverage of this, but maybe you're, because you have dry skin, if you add a little bit of Luminous Serum in there with it, it is phenomenal. Okay, and then our Stay Matte is $12.90. So this is basically exactly like the name says. This is a completely matte finish. It is full coverage. It minimizes your pores. It is excellent for people with oily skin. I would not recommend it for a drier skin, but more normal to oily. It is completely oil-free. This one also is formulated to minimize pores and also reduces, it has sebum control, so it's actually going to help reduce the amount of sebum and oil that your skin produces throughout the day. So basically, I can put this on and I am matte all day long. I don't get any shininess. I never have to like touch up with powder or anything like that. It stays matte all day. This is next to VFX. This is my favorite foundation, and the fact that it retails for $12.90 is pretty phenomenal. You get 1 fluid ounce, which is pretty standard for any foundation. And then with my discount, I get half off that. So it's a pretty darn good deal. I think I said everything. Full coverage, matte finish, oil-free, minimizes pores. Like I said, recommended for normal to oily skin. And then the last one, and then I am going to touch on powders just a little bit, but the last foundation, my absolute favorite, is the VFX Pro Camera Ready Foundation. It is the most expensive one that we have at $24.90, but it's so worth it, especially when I'm someone who, you know, my old favorite foundation was $60, and I was fine with paying that because it was so good. This one, with my discount, I get it for $12 freaking dollars, y'all, and it is amazing. So Pro Camera Ready, basically it is specially formulated to reflect and diffuse the light so it looks really, really good in pictures. It is full coverage. It is very long wearing. It's good for all skin types. It does have they say a matte finish. I would call it more of a satin finish because it's not completely flat matte like this one. You've got a little bit of sheen to it, not shine at all, just like a satin finish, velvety finish, if you want to call it that. Again, it has the photo filter technology that reflects and diffuses the light to give you a incredible finish up close and in photographs. You literally look airbrushed in photos when you use this. It reflects the light and it adds just a radiance to your photos as well. So this is actually the one I'm going to go ahead and apply since I don't have any foundation on yet. But first I did want to go over some of the powders because first of all, the Face Perfecting powder is actually a powder foundation, so I wanted to touch on that just briefly. The Face Perfecting powder is $12.90. It's just going to give you a very natural matte finish that evens your skin tone. But I use it on top of every single one of these foundations. So whichever one I choose for the day, I top it with this. For one, because I mentioned me being oily, it just kind of keeps all the oil and shine at bay all day long. But also, because it's a powder foundation, it actually adds an extra layer of coverage to all of these products as well. So again, this can be used on its own, or it can be used over the top of any of our foundations. We also have a BB and a Befit powder. So I mentioned that, sorry, that one had a lot of powder on top. I mentioned that the Befit line had a powder. This is the powder that goes with it. It's more of a color correcting powder. This could be used on its own. I don't notice a lot of coverage from this, just more of just kind of evening out your skin tone. So this would be great on top of really any of our foundations. I just prefer the Face Perfecting because again, it adds that level of coverage. If you're someone who wants a very light powder but does not want a lot of coverage from the powder, we actually have a BB powder. So this pairs nicely with our BB cream, but it also pairs with any of the other foundations as well. It could be used on its own. It gives you a little bit of color correction, but just a very light, smooth finish. All right, so let me apply, made a little mess here. Let me apply the VFX foundation for you since it is my fave. I just use a damp beauty sponge and I do a couple of pumps, and then if I need more after the 2 pumps, then I add just to certain places. So just all around the face. These beauty sponges are meant to be used damp, and then it helps give a really nice finish. You put it under the faucet, get it wet. Sorry, my mirror is gone, so I'm trying to use this. Let me just put my mirror back up. Hold on. You get it wet, you wring out everything, and you get it wet under the faucet, you wring out all the excess water, and then you get a towel and you squeeze it into the towel to remove even more of the moisture, and then you're just left with a damp sponge, and that's how you are supposed to use them. So as you can see, super full coverage, but it's very light. I'll zoom in on my face when I'm done so you can see. Now I do use the full coverage concealer after my foundation, just under my eyes. But other than that, that is it. So you can see the kind of finish that it gives. Of course, I need contour and blush and bronzer and all that stuff, but this gives you an idea of the coverage on the VFX. So let me zoom in just a little here, if I can. Do you see how I'm getting coverage? I can add a little more here to my sunspots, and I usually do. I add a little bit here and a little bit here. But do you see that it's giving you the coverage, but it's not, it doesn't look like I'm caked up with foundation, right? So let me do that. Let me add just, I'm doing about a half a pump more. And I just go over my age spots, sunspots, whatever you want to call them, just to give a little bit more coverage there. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and throw on the concealer and the powder just to show you what the powder can do on top of this and how it can add just a little bit more coverage if necessary, plus take away any shine or dewiness and that kind of thing. So full coverage concealer. We will go over more about the concealer and other things later this week. But let me just use it so that I can kind of finish off my face for you. These are kind of the everyday essentials for my base. It would be the VFX, then the full coverage concealer, and then the face perfecting powder. Okay. So you see that all blends out really smoothly and quickly. So let me show you the face perfecting powder. Like I said, this is a powder foundation as well. So you can use it on its own, which I do, or you can use it how I mainly do, which is as a setting powder on top of my foundation. So I like to get a really dense, small brush, swirl in the powder, and I pack it on that concealer just to set it. And I don't know if you can tell how it gives just a little bit extra coverage than I have on this side. And then you can keep that small brush, or I like to just switch to a big powder brush and just dab all over my face. And again, just adding kind of that extra bit of coverage, and you will see everything go fairly matte as well. So doing this just keeps that shine away all day long. And there we are. All right, that is it. That is all the foundations that we offer. If you have any questions, please just comment them below or reach out to me in a private message, and we will talk to you guys soon.